you already know what is the issue. There is this medical insurance premium hike. It caused an outcry in the public. Politicians are involved, government are involved. 40 to 70% expected hike going forward. But then the regulator, central bank came in and they say, here's what we are going to help. No more 30% hike next year, but they're going to stagger it. Now, what is called as delaying, the hike. It doesn't mean no premium hike, no price hike. It just delaying it for the next 3 years. Whatever happens from there, nobody knows. But today I'm going to talk about if your medical card medical insurance, and you receive no notification, and I mean zero notification from your insurer of any price hike, and then you might be, maybe I'm the lucky one that did not get impacted. Hooray! Well, I can tell you that if you do not receive this notification, you are even facing a bigger red flag. So let me explain why that is the reason. Now, I conduct advisory for clients. Probably you already know that, right? And when we conduct advisory, look at the client's cash flow, assets, liabilities, and all that to help them achieve a certain goals. I want to retire in 5 years' time, 2 years' time, or whatnot. So we also look at their insurance policy, what they are paying and all that. Now imagine, it's very often that I see a client have a medical card, an old medical card that looks like this, right? Imagine today you are 45 and you only have this. This is the only medical card that you have, which comes with an annual limit of 90,000 and a lifetime limit of 300,000. Is it a surprise why there is no price hike notification that you notice, why it doesn't impact you? Because what you have is 1 year insurance company only cover you 90,000 of your medical bill. And for the entire next 35 years or 30 years, right? Imagine you're 45 or 40 right now. This is all you have for the next few decades. After your 300,000 lifetime limit is exhausted, basically it is like you are not having any medical card at all. And I'm talking about a medical inflation of, Bank Negara say it, 15% per year, right? Latest data, right? So don't be happy. This is a red flag. This is even a more serious issue that you are facing. So this particular client, I'm just going to use one case study as I conduct advisory for clients. But I've seen this happen more than once, and it is very common, right? And I look at what they have, and they say, hey, the medical card was bought in 2012, and my first question to client was, hey, over the past more than 10 years, you have not made any changes or upgraded your medical card, right? Is it because the insurance agent that sold you the card is no longer in business, or for some reason, or what? And then there's a recent case that I realized that the agent is still in business. It's just that after the client bought this medical card more than 12, 13 years ago, the same agent was selling him a saving plan in 2014, 3 years later, another saving plan number 2, and then the third saving plan in 2019, and the fourth saving plan in 2021. And we are talking about this very same agent, which has no context of to the client's best interest. He should have recommended an upgrade in that medical card that has been like with outdated annual limit and lifetime limit since more than 10 years ago. It's overdue for an upgrade. But the client, the insurance agent just do not really think that way. For some reason, just keep on recommending, saving plan, which is for a client that if you're a layman, you would have thought that if I buy a medical card today, I'm set for life. That is not the case, because every few years, you have to look at it. How has the trend changes, right? 10 years ago, more than 10 years ago, in 2010, 2012, it's very common to have a medical card that only have like 100,000, 90,000 of annual limit and 300,000 of lifetime limit, right? It will never, at that point of time, you do not have any medical card products that have like 1 million annual limit. No, doesn't exist that way. So you buy or you bought whatever is common and was available at that point of time. But fast forward to a few years, 10 years, and you can see that there's so much gap between the coverage that you have, which is grossly insufficient. I'm not saying insufficient for now. I'm saying that it's very insufficient for the next 30 years, for the next 40 years, right? And medical card, if you are going to buy a medical card when you are young, usually there's not a problem. You buy medical card when you are in your late 30s, 40s, usually still not of an issue. But then after 50, 60, that is where, you have this high blood pressure, diabetic, and all that. At that point of time, if you want to upgrade or even buy a medical card, you also cannot buy because the insurance company, no insurance company want to insure you. Yes, I'm talking about the exact same insurance company that you have paid your medical card for the past few decades. They are not going to say, oh, you are a loyal customer just because you have paid your premium for the next 30 years or so. Now you are diabetic, so never mind, we still insure you. If you want to upgrade, of course they will still insure you. When you become diabetic at 60 years old or whatnot, right? Or you are hit by a heart attack, because medical card, whatever happened before your past medical history, if that is something that the insurance company feel that you are too high risk, they will actually not cover you from day one. But that's why they say medical card you buy too young, when you are in your 20s, because you don't have likely you don't have any bad medical condition or bad health history. So whatever happens thereafter, they will cover you. But if it already happened and you try to upgrade a medical card, you can't. Of course, what you have, you are left with what you have, like per lifetime 300,000. It will still cover you for whatever future medical condition, right? There will be no exclusion on that. But which is why I say this is still a red flag. If you don't see notification, you don't get notified of a hike in your medical premium, it's one of the common reason is because you're holding a medical card like this, which again, of course, there is no price hike because the risk to insure you for only 90,000 a year is so low, so they don't need to impose a price hike. And this is the thing that you have to understand from an insurance company standpoint, right? So insurance company have a lot version of medical cards since the day one they start businesses. Okay, of course, a medical card you have bought 50 years ago. Today, if you claim and you are still paying premium, insurance companies still have to honor that by paying you whatever claims or medical bills that are being incurred. That is fine. But over the years, of course, just like a car, after 3-4 years, it's still the same Honda Civic, still the same Toyota Camry. The name is the same. It's still the medical card by the insurance company, but they keep on have more coverage, better coverage, higher coverage for the medical card product that they are going to revise to a new version as years go by. You get what I mean? Now, the best way I want to illustrate it is here. Say if you bought a medical card in 2010, the medical card at the point of time, regardless of any insurer, the annual limit could be just like 90,000, right? Lifetime limit, lifetime limit 300,000. But if you bought a medical card in 2019, the medical card usually will already come with 7 figures, a million of lifetime limit. No, a million of annual limit. But lifetime limit usually is already unlimited, so you don't have to worry anymore about lifetime limit. You just have to look at what is the annual limit, right? And the ruckus that you are seeing in media about the medical card price high and all that, it mostly involves the medical card that was bought just before or during or right after COVID, pandemic. And these are the price where you see in the news you increase 30%, 50% or whatnot, okay? And these are the medical card that by design, it provides you with like at least a million or few millions of annual limit. And these are the one. The one on the left, this is a medical card, as I've explained, this you wouldn't be surprised, right? There's no price increase for that because can you see just in about 10 years of time, the gap between medical card annual limit is so big, right? It's a huge gap. But I can also tell you that the price has not gone up, right? The premium has not gone up 10 times, even though the annual limit has, is like tenfold, right? More compared to a medical card that was bought more than 10 years ago. So, and this is how we actually do, right? So for me personally, if for all of my direct clients, I would have notified you, every 3-4 years, not every year, because every year, medical card doesn't change to a new version every year, but every 3-4-5 years, slightly there's another version. But again, just like you're trying to upgrade an iPhone, right? You have an iPhone 12. you know, iPhone 13 came out, you usually don't upgrade because the features, in terms of features improvement from one immediate generation to another immediate generation is not that significant. If you have iPhone 10, maybe you only upgrade to an iPhone 15, right? And that is, you have a 5 years gap where the difference between the features are huge, right? So you don't have to upgrade like on every year there's a new cycle, new product, just like iPhone. You just think of it that way, that kind of analogy. But if, like I say, if you're my direct client, usually I will have inform you if the gap between what you have and what is in the market, what is the norm today, there's a gap already, right? And I would say, yeah, I mean, perhaps you might consider to get a new one if the budget allows, right? And usually that is the case because after 5 years, if you are telling me you are still earning the same salary compared to 5 years ago, then basically something wrong with your income earning ability, right? To put it bluntly, right? But here's also the thing that when after like 5 years or even 7, 8 years, right? When you try to upgrade to medical card, I think the first thing is to say that, okay, you have an existing medical card with insurance company A, you try to look at an upgraded version or newer version of the same medical card also by the same insurer and look at that first, right? And see, you know, that would be the what I call as the easiest way, the path of least resistance. But however, you know, after a few years, when you upgrade, basically even with the same insurer, you are literally like buying a new one. So I always make this, look at this analogy. If you are going to upgrade a medical card, okay, do not be constrained, okay, by the same insurance company, although that is the first thing you will look, right? You also want to look at, hey, for this budget, is there a medical card by other insurers that actually also suits me and could be, you know, provides that the coverage that you need, which I'll explain further, right? Just hold on for that, right? Because if the analogy is, if you are on say 5 years or 10 years ago, you start with a Honda Civic, right? And then your income increases, you know, after a few years, and then now you say, oh, I have a 300,000 budget to buy a car, right? But if you have a 300,000 budget, does your option have to be limited by only buying a car from Honda, right? 300,000 budget, you can look at BMW, Mercedes, Toyota, you know, maybe even Lexus, right? So this is the analogy I think I want to share with you. And because on our side, it's very easy for us to actually do that because we actually deal with multiple insurance company. And when you are actually buying a new one, we always help clients to compare, right? Compare, understand the coverage of difference between insurer, the costing difference, okay? In other words, we get our clients what people would say the best value of money, right? And I could argue that even the high income earner, even you can afford, you know, to pay, okay, this one costs 6,000 a year, this one costs 7,000 a year, but it's a similar thing, right? Why would you pay more? Even high income earner would not reject a good deal. I think nobody, no matter how rich you are, how much you're earning, you would not reject a good deal or the best value for money, right? And the way that we can do that, because we are not insurance agent, right? Think of it as like a broker, licensed broker, right? Where we have clients to compare, you know, the cost and the coverage between insurer. So what is really happening in the market, like when it comes to medical insurance premium increase? I think I've read all the news and they don't really explain it like visually, but this is where I hope I could, if you're watching that, I hope I could fill in the gap for you. Imagine you have a 2019 medical card, right? And in 2019, just assume you are 39 years old. Today you are 45 years old, indicated by the blue line here. So you bought this medical card 6 years ago when you are 39 years old, and the annual premium is 5,000 a year. And at that point of time, this is supposed to be you're expected to pay 5,000 a year all throughout the years, and it should be able, the costing based on the actual risk calculation at the insurance company side, it should be enough to cover the costing at the insurance company side until 80 years old, right? That was so-called the promise. Now, a lot of people are complaining because these promises was broken, right? This is why the price hike, right? What literally happens now is you try to look at what I represent for you in the red line over here, right? Because of the cost of medical treatment or services increase and medical inflation, yada yada, and all that. They say insurance companies are literally telling you, if today you only continue paying 5,000 a year, there's no change in the coverage. There's no limit, annual limit change. There's no change in the annual limit, no change in the lifetime limit. Nothing changed in terms of what it covers and what it does not cover. Right? It's just that if you continue to 5,000 a year, you can only cover yourself until age 60. After age 60, they are literally telling you to say, oh, after age 60 until age 80, you have to now pay 12,000 a year, not 5,000 a year anymore. Although that was so-called promise, right, to you that from 39 to 80, you know, when you first started, they say, hey, I thought I'm doing 5,000 a year until 80, man. Why suddenly, you know, you break your promise and all that, right? But they say, I didn't break my promise. It's just that things happen, the cost have increased. Insurance companies are telling you we cannot be losing money. Therefore, the red line is what literally will happen. But they are telling you now instead of telling you 15 years from now. Today you're 45, right? 60, 15 years from now. They say that they already give you a lot of time, like heads up. So they say that instead of you having, you know, to have a shock of your life at 60 where, you know, you need to pay 12,000 a year, now I'm telling you upfront. Therefore, what they are suggesting, what you call as a price hike, is from 5,000 a year, now increase to 7,500 a year, which is what I indicate by the orange line. But they say you have to start paying now at 45 today. If not, you still keep on, you insist on only paying 5,000 a year. Actually, there's no problem. They cannot, insurance company would not force you to pay more, 7,500 or whatnot, right? They cannot force you to do that. It's just that they're informing you to say, if you do not like what we project will happen in the what is indicated by the red line, therefore today we need to take action. Your premium increase 50% from 5,000 per year to 7,500 a year, starting now. If that is the case, you should be able to bring up, you know, to still remain that you would still have this medical coverage, the same annual limit and everything until age 80 because of unforeseen circumstances, which is medical inflation, right? So when they designed this policy 6 years ago, when you are 39, they did not anticipate that. Hey, a lot of things happened already for the past 6 years, right? COVID happens, medical inflation has gone up, so even their actuaries did not expect it, but they are actually in a very transparent manner. They say, okay, this is the arrangement, this is what I propose. If you don't like it, just be prepared to pay, you know, double the amount versus a 5,000 a year, you know, by age 60 or whatnot, right? So they are trying to solve an issue that will happen 15 years from now for you. Imagine this is you, by proposing an alternative solution today, right? But like I say, if you do not like whatever the arrangement highlighted in orange color, or you don't even like arrangement what I draw and in red color, you can just even stop paying, and it's a fair deal. Nobody's going to force you. You just don't have coverage. Even if you can start, you know, stop paying today, it's just from 5,000 to 0. Again, it's a fair deal. They don't really force you. But the thing that you have to understand, in every insurance policy, there's always a clause, and this clause is nothing new, right? You bought a medical in 2019, you bought a medical card in 1990, there's always a clause inside every medical insurance policy to say that they can increase, insurance company can increase the costing of the insurance. Yes, they're right. If you try to bring this up now to the regulator, or even to go to court, you can't really win now. Because if you sign that policy, it is assumed that just like a contract, you already accepted this as part of the term. It's just that most people don't understand, or it has never been explained to them. But you sign the application, you sign the policy from day one, it's assumed that you already agree with this. So they always have the right to do this, right? There's no argument about that, right? Which is why the regulator, Bank Negara, would not say that, oh, insurance company, you cannot increase your cost because you haven't, in your contract, you didn't say so. No. Insurance company always have this clause to actually protect themselves in case this kind of thing happen. Now, and I've said that again and again that this clause is nothing new. It has happened over the years. It's just that the magnitude of this price hike or the frequency, how often the price hike happen, it's not as often like what is happening right now, but it has happened for the few decades since medical card products was in the market, right? It's just very subtle. People don't complain about it because it's not much and it's not really like widespread. It doesn't happen to maybe this insurance company every 3-4 years they increase one time and then that's it. And then other insurance company they might increase the price not as often. So this is some of the difference, right? And it happens since the beginning of time or whatnot, right? Now, which is why now you understand why there is this red flag if you do not get notification of price increase from an insurance company. But other than that, I want to bring to your attention this, right? You see, back the government of the measures they say is to for all policyholders affected by the price hike. They are saying that the insurance company should offer an alternative product with the same or lower premiums. Now read this very carefully. They did not say the same should offer alternative product with the same coverage at the same premium. No, okay. So they say alternative product with the same or lower premium, but you definitely would not get the same coverage in terms of annual limit or what's being covered or not covered, right? So if you pay the same, no matter how you look at it, you pay the same, you will have lower coverage, right? For the same number of years. Or if you say, I even want to pay lower, then you even have lower coverage. Now, let me explain this, right? And this is one of the red flags a lot of people didn't notice. Let's say, again, the blue color, you hold a 2019 medical card. And this 2019 medical card, in terms of the terms of what it covers and what it does not cover, right? I would only talk about, I don't want to talk about specific treatment or what are the illness. Let's talk about treatment A, B, C, D, E, F. A 2019 medical card, in its contract, it will specifically says that we will cover for this kind of treatment A, B, C, D, E, everything, right? But here's the thing, 2010 medical card will have, besides having a lower limit, annual limit than the 2019 medical card, the 2010 medical card, the coverage, if you only cover treatment from A, B, C, it would not cover D, E, F. Why? Because D, E, F are the new medical technology, new kind of treatment that cost 5 times more than treatment type A, B, C, right? So in other words, that is again the huge difference, and this explains why if you're holding a 2010 medical card, well, there's no medical pricing hike, solely because, of course, you know, if you admit to hospital, and even if the doctor says that, you know, the treatment DEF, we recommend treatment DEF, as a lot of private hospital will do so, right? Again, private hospital, not exactly charity, still a profit-making organization, you know, and they say treatment DEF have benefits of you can recover faster, it's less painful, it's more effective, yada yada yada. They will tell you that. Of course, you as a patient, you say you follow recommendation by the doctor, right? And sometimes the standardized treatment could be DEF, but don't be surprised if your medical card from 2010 do not covers DEF, although it's recommended by the doctor. Of course, you can say, I still want treatment DEF, right, as recommended by the doctor using a 2010 medical card. So there are two possibilities over here. Either, you know, the insurance company would not cover you, or, you know, they would only cover partial of the cost. What is customary and reasonable and customary. But however, even for the same insurance company, the 2019 medical card will cover ABC, DEF. And that's why I say, from an insurance company standpoint, they look at the pricing, the costing for all their medical card products from day one until now separately, right? And this is a very clear cut, and when it comes to what is covered and what is not covered. Now, I'm going to share you a story of a client of mine. Happens to be a doctor. He himself is a doctor. Why doctor buy medical card? Can't they just go, you know, they know people in a lot of government hospital, can't they just have a priority treatment and all that? Yeah, but here's the thing. Doctor, from what I understand, they still buy medical card because if you want treatment to be fast, you go to private sector. Public sector, equally good, I do not deny. Okay, I'm not sure if you agree. But, you know, the queue is very long, so they still buy a medical card. Now, So back in the days, imagine, right? He will have a 2010 medical card, and since he's a doctor, I just trigger him back in the days and say, hey, now we got 2019 medical card. It covers the DEF and all that. And sometimes, because doctors, they know more about this medical treatment more than me or more than most people, right? He initially did not take my advice, for the upgrade, right? He's holding a 2010 medical card, but then until he realized, or until he encountered a kisah benar, real story, right, of what happened, to someone that he knows about. Wow, the cost to actually cover for treatment type E is so much expensive, and then this is his friend or whatnot, someone he know that he actually have to fork out for the difference, right? And then that's why he came back to me and say, hey Lieu, I thought last time you say about upgrading this medical card from a 2010 to 2019 version because it comes with A, B, C, D, E, F. And he said, I want to do it now. Okay, see? So sometimes people got triggered. It's because something happened, to the people close to them or the people that they know. Then they only woke up, right? And I've seen a lot of these cases, right? So I think I'm not trying to convince you, to do whatever that is right. But what I can is I'm going to waste a lot of saliva over here talking about this issue. But sometimes you need some kisah benar or true story to really jolt you into taking action, right? And the other story is this kind of mine, is very, very supportive. And when he first got his own medical card, and he really liked the way I explain things and all that. He got his parents, he got similar medical card for his parents. So now that he decided to upgrade, into a newer medical card because it covered A, B, C, D, E, F, and he was trying to upgrade for his father, but the father cannot be upgraded because back then, many years ago, the father already hold an older medical card. Want to upgrade, cannot, because the father now is already diabetic. Okay? So I always want to tell my clients that medical card is really, if you think of it, it's not really bought with money. It's bought with health. Because I also encountered a case whereby a father for his teenage son. His teenage son have to go through a kidney transplant. Can you imagine? Someone in their teenagers, because kidney damage, have to go to a kidney transplant. Okay, after the kidney transplant, of course recovering and all that, but the father was trying to get a medical card for the son, and was asking me to say he's willing to pay more, right? Let's say if you buy for a teenager, probably the medical card is about 3,000 a year or 2,000 a year, but he's willing to pay 5,000 or even double and triple, just to get his son's covered with kidney transplant history. But no insurance company want to cover the son, right? And there are these people who really do not mind, right? Of course, he can pay that amount of money, which is why brings back to my point. Medical card isn't really bought with money. Of course, you need money, but there are sometimes even money cannot solve the problem. It's health. Think of it, it's bought with health. So, and this is what I want. I hope I could visualize. I explain this in a visual way for you. When the central bank say they want to mandate or obligate insurance company to come up with an alternate product with the same or lower premium, I think nobody is naive to think that you still get the same coverage. Now, and the way I could visualize this to you is this, right? If you have a 2019 medical card and you know that the price is going to increase 30%. Now, of course, the central bank, the regulator coming to say that no more 30%, right? Next year, they're going to stagger this price increase for the next 3 years. It cannot exceed 10% per year. Fine, right? I think everybody now knows that. But for discussion's sake, if this medical card say that it's increased 30% per year, why? Because 2019 version, the blue version medical card has a high annual limit and a high or no lifetime limit, right? Which is high no lifetime limit, and it covers A, B, C, D, E, F. Now that if you downgrade, of course, the insurance company say, hey, if you don't like this price increase, we make a cheaper alternative for you, which is what I visualize, a cheap 2025 alternative in purple color. But here's the thing, this purple color cheaper alternative, if you know how to look at all the things and all what it covers and what it does not cover, you could end up with something with a lower annual limit and a lower lifetime limit, or it's not an unlimited lifetime limit, And probably it only for the treatment it only covers ABC but not ABCDEF. So you're actually downgrading. Of course, it's cheaper, right? But it's basically a downgrade. And please be very careful that the downgrade could be something very similar to a 2010 version of a medical card, which is something that has a with a low annual limit and a low lifetime limit. Because insurance companies say, yeah, we have to follow this directive or instruction from the regulator, Bangladesh in this case. But of course, the regulator did not say that the alternative must have the same coverage feature or coverage limit as the one that has experienced the price hike of 30%. The regulator cannot mandate that because they know that insurance company cannot be a loss-making business as well, right? So end up, right, whether you realize it or not, if you don't pay attention, you might have downgraded your medical card or all that. And then end of the day, if something happen in the future and you are holding a cheaper alternative, and then you think back, right, as a medical condition happened to you, doctors say that, oh, this medical condition is best treated with treatment type D. And then you realize that the medical card you have downgraded to just because you feel like the 30% price hike was too outrageous. And then you realize that the medical card that you're still paying is not to say you don't pay money, right? The medical card you're downgraded with a lower premium. It does not cover you for treatment type D that the doctor recommended, which is supposedly better for you as a patient. And then maybe you're going to go look back and discover that, hey, the medical card that I originally had, which I feel very angry because of this price hike, I chose to downgrade it, and then now it does not cover me anymore, right? So end of the day, you could be stuck in that, or you could land yourself in that kind of position, right? So just be very aware of this. Of course, you can just clarify this with your agents and all that. But for us, any of our clients that choose to do so, we will have them know that, okay, if you change to a lower cost medical card, what is it really that you are losing, right? How much that you lose. And if this happens in the future, you just have to be very aware that, depending on how we look at it, and some people could be okay, okay lah, we switch it, because some people are only looking at the money side of things, okay, how much I'm paying, right? But I think we have to look at both sides as well, like, okay, probably you are paying like 30% less or even the same premium, but you end up with a mediocre coverage or a higher or lower annual limit or lower coverage, which when the time that you need to use it in the future and you realize that, oh man, oh shit, and this is my long message for today, and hopefully this impromptu visual explanation makes sense to you. If you have any other comments or remarks, please leave your comments down below. Now, I also would argue that the people who really need medical card, just like the PB40, are the ones who are really cannot afford or price out from this kind of medical card products, and the people who can afford it without complaining about the price hike and all that are the ones who don't really need it. Because if there's even a medical bill of 300,000, 400,000, they could, it is very damaging to the pocket, but they could actually pay for it still without like going bankrupt, right? But these people, high income earner, people with a few millions in their retirement fund or whatnot, they are still very smart, because if they buy a medical card, that would actually cushion them or shield them from all this medical inflation and all that, because they find it is way easier to preserve your wealth that way. And the fact is, I think nobody would disagree that planning for a medical card premium, even if it's a 10,000, 15,000 a year, if you're 60 or 70, planning to pay for a medical card premium from a financial planning standpoint is easier than planning for a medical bill sinking fund. Because the medical bill sinking fund, there's really no upper limit of how high it can go and when is it going to happen. But if you plan for a medical card premium, at least you have some level of certainty of this. As long as I'm paying this much every year, then I get covered for this 1 million or 2 million of annual limit or medical bill. There's some certainty over there, and you would be covered no matter what. The only uncertain thing is if this medical inflation goes out of hand, then of course your medical card premium would also increase. But then the kind of increase into your medical card premium, it's nothing compared to the increase in the medical bill due to medical inflation. Other video where I talk about how to solve this issue yourself immediately without depending on the government, without depending on anyone, how to solve the issue without financially impact you so much with this increase, because these are the things we cannot control. But there are things that you can control in order for you to, not to be financially burdened in case any medical condition or whatnot. Huge medical bill hits you in the future. Watch this other video. I'm going to link up over there, over here. If not, find it in the link in bio. And I'll see you in the next clip. And thanks for watching.